Yeah, so we are live now, guys. Yep. So hi Tarun and Abhishek, we are live now, and we will just wait for 2 to 3 minutes more so that people can join, and then we will start the session. Okay. So we're just waiting for a few more minutes, and then we will start. Till then, who everyone is joining, they can just comment out their college name and their like respective years, so that we can have a demographic from where are the people belonging in this session. So just comment out all your questions, all your queries, and we'll be happy to hear you. And if anyone is facing any issue with the video or audio, they can just tell us in the chat section. I hope everyone is seeing the screen and all these things. So there are, yeah. So currently 30 people have joined. Okay, great. So we are just waiting for one more minute and then we'll start. So yes, first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining this Ask Me Anything session, and thank you, Tarun and Abhishek, for taking out your time from a busy schedule so that students and learners of this community can grow and learn. And without wasting any further time, let's start with a brief round of introduction. Hi guys, my name is Abhishek and I'm currently working as a software engineer at Zomato, and I'm in the backend team. And we are working on some cool projects related to Python, related to Golang, related to other various technologies. And I would like to introduce Tarun and Abhishek, and I want that both of them give you the introduction. So let's start with the introduction round. I request you to please include about your journey, about your working profiles in your respective companies, about your companies, as well as how did you manage to grab this particular position at your company. Okay, so let's start with Abhishek.
Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing good. A bit of intro about me. I've completed computer science engineering in 2019 from Indraprastha University, Delhi, and right now working at Amazon as a software development engineer. Previously, I worked at Amazon in payments team. Right now, I'm working with finance automation team, which deals with the billions of invoices and purchases which are done by Amazon. I've experienced working in research field at IIT Madras and then to startups like Atlan, then to mid-level companies like Wingify and now at Amazon. I've worked on different tech stack like Android, DevOps, machine learning, and now working in backend field at Amazon. And I've also won few hackathons like a Smart India hackathon and two hackathons at Amazon. So yeah, that's it from my side, and I hope you will be at a better stage after this AMA, and you will get to learn some really good things, and will be able to crack interviews at big short companies. Thanks.
Yeah. So hi guys, I'm Tarun. I'm doing my graduation from IIT Delhi. I'm a final year student of mathematics and computing, and hoping to get a degree after this coronavirus pandemic gets done. Uh, so uh, so basically, I have done internships at Microsoft, DShow, and currently I'm working with Adobe as a research intern in artificial intelligence team. I'm working in reinforcement learning here, and also like I have a mostly background of mathematics. I also did some competitive coding. I have interviewed with uh, many of finance firms as well as big tech firms like Google, Microsoft, Adobe, and finance firms like Shaw, Tower, Jane Street. So I guess like after this session, I'll be able to help you out with the questions you have regarding the preparation, regarding the temperament, and how to build the right skill set for the interviews. Over to
Awesome,
Abhishek.
awesome. Yeah. So the audience is with us and they have now a brief idea about you both guys. And the first question for tonight for both of you is how to build the right skill set for placements and how one can prepare for companies like these Adobe, Microsoft, and Amazon. Yeah. So let's start with Tarun.
Okay. So I guess the interview preparation will be mostly around preparing right coding questions. Like you can start with interview bit, lead code. You can even do competitive coding. I have done a bit of competitive coding in my engineering journey, but I guess for crack, like uh, that's not necessary to crack coding interviews at Microsoft or say particularly Microsoft or Shaw. Like they'll ask questions which will require you to implement on Go during the interview. So you must be aware of the right coding practices. So in that sense, I guess lead code helps out people. So you can start with lead code, and like for other skill sets, like you should have a like good resume to start out with, like to have to have you on board. And then like for other skill sets, I guess the right communication skills, because in interviews, like I have seen a lot of people who were very good in coding, but still they couldn't crack the interviews. Like one of my friend was ICPC World finalist, and he couldn't crack the Microsoft internship round. So I guess that's where he lacked the communication, but he grew up from there. So I guess that's also a bit of essential skill. Over to Abhishek.
Okay, so adding to this question, if a student is late, like he's in second year or starting the third year, and he has not started
Hmm.
his coding journey yet, so what advice would
Hmm.
you can give to him so that he can crack these companies?
I guess I have seen people who started doing this lead code interview bit a bit late, and still, like one of my friend even started after he got internships, and he is now placed in Microsoft. So I guess like there is definitely better. It's better if you start early, but it's like you can start late as well. So you can start doing questions on daily basis. Like there are a lot of questions on interview bit and lead code. I would suggest you start with interview bit if you are not familiar with all the concepts out there. And once you complete interview bit, then you can jump on to lead code. There are a lot of questions, so you won't be able to complete all of them. So better to start with top liked ones, then start do other what other people have been suggesting. Like you can find a lot of lists over internet or over LinkedIn. You can reach out to other people. You can reach out to people like us who have already cracked interviews to know what are the right questions to practice, what are the right ways to practice. So I guess like even 2-3 months of time should be enough to get you ready if you know your basic skills, like if you know your basic concepts of data structures and algorithms.
Okay, awesome. So the same question goes to Abhishek Popli. Yeah, so we want to hear your views also. Let's yeah.
Yeah, sure. I agree with Tarun on some points. I would say that first of all, for students who are in first or second year, you have a good amount of time for preparing for interviews. Also, you need to start practicing and learning data structure and algorithms, just for the sake of you. That's a part of your course, not only because of that, but that's those things you will be using in your job for at least 10-20 years or so. So those things are your basic fundamentals which you need to focus on in your initial first and second year. Students who are in third or fourth year, you are never late. It's never late. So you can also start up with that, but it's like you need to hurry up. Nothing. It's never late. For first and second year students, you need to start with data structure and algorithms practice, not go into competitive programming. That's a different field. You need to have a different problem solving skills over there. But data structure and algorithms, then try to use those data structures in doing some tech projects. Those tech projects first help you in your resume for screening rounds. Second, you get to implement those data structures, and that's what you will be doing in your jobs also. So do some tech projects that will help you for your resume screening. And then if you think that you have a good hold over data structure algorithms, you want to go into more into problem solving skills, then go for, I would say, competitive programming. that's the stage when you're more confident that you can clear interviews or so. Because at that point of time you have different fields, like you can go to open source, do more tech projects, or go to competitive programming. But the basic is that you have 4 years to learn skills, choose your career paths, have some guidance from your seniors, and you need to get exposure to all fields. If you want to go to startups, what particular field like DevOps, machine learning you want to go to. And for placements, first I would say have some good tech projects which are required for resume screening, specifically for tier 2 and tier 3 colleges when you want to go for off campus placement. And then I would say for cracking interview, whether you are going through on campus or off campus placements, you ought to have some data structure algorithm skills which are tested. So yeah, over to
Okay.
you, Abhishek.
Yeah, great advice, guys. So the next question for you guys is, this is the most famous question the people have asked. What is the complete process of selection in product-based company? What is the interview rounds and how exactly it goes like? So yeah, so let's start with Abhishek.
Yeah, your voice break. Can you please come with the question again?
Yeah. The question is, what is the complete process of selection in product-based company? Especially if you can talk about Amazon also, what are the hiring rounds and all those things. So how we can
Okay,
prepare and how exactly what is the exact process of interviews. Yeah.
sure. On generic basis for top product-based companies, usually they have an online coding round, whether you're going through on-campus or off-campus rounds. So first round is of around 1 or 1.5 hours, where you get some two coding questions and 10 to 20 MCQs. Uh, then, if you clear that up, you are required to do those two questions, specifically when there's a bulk or mass drive going on. So you're expected to clear those two questions. Then comes the on-site rounds. Right now, due to coronavirus, they are off-campus rounds going on. But 4 rounds of 1 hour each happen in on-site, and in each hour you have to clear two questions. Those are problem-solving questions, not of hard level, but till trees and DP, dynamic programming questions. So this is how the procedure goes. This is the same procedure which happens for Amazon. At Amazon, we don't see which college or which stream you are. If you have the right skill set, those bar is determined in those interview rounds. We don't see what kind of projects you have done before. That's done in resume screening. But when you come for interview rounds, we see the data structure algorithms part, what control, what approach you are taking, uh, what confidence you have. So those things we see, if the candidate is able to clear the approach with us, what kind of skills does he have. So those skills are we try to figure it out during the interviews.
Okay, awesome. So, Tarun, for you, I have a question is, what is the process in fintech companies? Like you have given a lot of interviews in like fintech companies like Tower Research, D-Shaw. So what exactly the different procedure for these companies? How one can prepare for these companies instead of the companies like Amazon, Microsoft? Yeah.
So I guess like most of the procedure is same. If you are applying on campus, so resume screening is not that prominent. But if you are applying off campus, then there is a rigorous resume screening as the initial stage, and then once you clear that, then most of the firms will have initial telephonic rounds, and online coding rounds. Some of the firms take online coding rounds, some of the firms don't. And like if they are taking that round, then it will be mostly on HackerRank or some that kind of platform. It will have coding questions, but it will also have quant kind of questions, which will include puzzles, probability, might include linear algebra, and those kind of concepts which will involve which can involve a lot of mathematics as well. So that's the kind of even that will be the content of like questions which will be asked in the interviews as well. So after that, most of the firms take 1 or 2 telephonic rounds, and then there are on-site rounds for that. And like some of the firms have like some of the but one difference we can observe in the case of fintech firms is like they mostly don't make you write the whole code. They are like because they are
Okay.
mostly if you are looking for quant jobs in there, then they're mostly looking for just the strategies you are building, just the way you are thinking, the way you are strategizing. So that's the most important skill they are looking into. So they are not much into how you are, like how good you can code. Like if you are able to come up with a good pseudo code on a working algorithm, that might be okay to them. But again, there are exceptions. Like that's dependent form to form.
Okay, okay, great. So moving on to the next question. This is also the most frequent question people have asked, and the question is, what should the people should focus on, like competitive coding versus coding for placements and versus personal projects. Like how one can manage all these three things simultaneously without focusing on one thing at like a lot. So how can one balance out these three things: competitive coding, coding for placements, and personal projects? So let's start with Tarun.
Okay, so I guess I started with competitive coding in my first year, and it was mostly out of interest. I had my first coding course at IIT, and then my friend suggested to go for competitive coding, and I started out with that idea in mind that it's just building up on my coding skills. But then if you start and if you start if you start competitive coding and you come out to be liking it, then I guess it can help you build your problem solving skills. So I guess in my case it helped me a lot when I started with my preparation for interviews. I had a lot of background in case of algorithms and data structures, which I had developed over time while doing competitive coding. I'm not saying that I did a lot of competitive coding, but I guess up to my third year, I did a sufficient. I gave it sufficient amount of time that I even went for ACM ICPC regionals. So I guess, but after that, it's mostly sport programming. So the most active players you will look for competitive coding, and the most successful are the ones who are really liking it. Those who are not doing it for just to crack some coding companies. So if you are that into competitive coding, then it will definitely help you out. It will be mostly out of interest. But if you want to focus on just I've seen people who have just done lead code or interview bit to crack the coding company. So if you have that uh, like that goal into your mind, then I guess there is no need to go into a competitive coding. But I definitely would suggest you to give it a try. And bit on, I guess, projects. So I've been mostly I'm a mathematics student, so I haven't done most of tech projects. So I have done bit of projects in machine learning in my journey at IIT Delhi, but I haven't done much of tech projects. I have done tech projects as part of courses. You can see those as assignments, more of assignments come projects. So I guess that's it for us. That's it for projects from my side. I guess
Okay,
Abhishek will add it.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So what about Abhishek? Abhishek, yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, almost all points Tarun has covered. But few addition to that, as an engineering student, what I prioritized was I have given the gist already that first you need to start with data structure and algorithms. Uh, People are asking that how can we start with it. So just what I also did that mistake, and many other people do that. They try to go over different platforms like Read Code, Spoj, and then Code Chef, HackerRank, Hackerer. They have accounts handles on all platforms. So don't do that. Just stick to one or two and try to complete them. Try to cover all the topics, irrespective of what platform you are on. Questions are almost the same everywhere. Just the names and prompt statements are different. So first, try to have some confidence over data structure algorithms. Prepare for that. Have some good fundamentals. Then go for some projects which will help you for resume screening. People are also asking what kind of projects. See, projects, there's not specific projects which we see via screening. It's just that we ought to get a hint that here, hey, this person has a good development skills. He has worked on some good projects, so he must be having those skills with him. So that's what we target. So try to do those projects where you learn something, where you try hands-on on different things, and try to implement those data structure algorithms there. Next is finally the competitive programming comes into picture. As Tarun said, when it's good if you do that, but doesn't matter if you don't do. It's not a part or a requirement for cracking coding interviews. Just that if you do, it's better. So that's the number three priority for me. First, TS Algo.
Okay.
Second, tech projects, and third is competitive.
Okay. So I
Uh,
will summarize all these things. Yeah, Tarun is adding something. Yeah.
Also, yeah, I would like to add into like projects. So I guess like the kind of projects I have included on my resume, and I think the reason why I think that those make sense is like, I guess the recruiter should get a sense of breadth of things you have done. Like it's not the depth. Like mostly recruiters are non-technical people, so they don't have idea of they might be knowing the concepts in breadth but not in depth. So I guess like that's why I try to cover course projects or projects which covers which covers the breadth of things I have done in my college life. Like I have worked in this. If I have worked in like databases, if I have worked on networks, then I'll cover both in my resume so that like recruiter can get to know that yeah, like I have done my work in these fields which are relevant to uh, their daily work. So
Mhm.
so that's the idea behind course projects or projects you choose. At least it should get you an idea of what are the industrial problems, so that like even recruiter gets to know that he this guy or girl has already done work in this field, so like he can add some value to our daily
Okay.
work as well.
Awesome. So you both were talking about projects. So is there any way we can build our resume in such a way that the projects that we are mentioning or like building are the eye-catching for an interview? Like people are focusing on more machine learning projects, AI projects. Is it necessary for them? Like, is it necessary for interviews, or you can choose your interest and then go in depth?
I know, but I don't know, but like for me, I guess the projects most of the interviewers never discuss about projects. Like that's my personal experience, I guess. Like at least for internships, like I have in Microsoft interview they asked my they discussed about one of my projects, but all the other interviews have taken like in Shaw, in Jane Street, in Google. Like they never asked about my previous projects, at least technically. Like I might had some HR rounds which will discuss about the kind of problems I faced in those projects, kind of decisions I took, kind of leadership skills I showed. But most of the interviewers don't go into much details, at least for internships and in
Okay.
initial uh, like graduate placements. So that's mostly there for getting the resume selected for the first time, I guess.
Okay. What is your opinion, Abhishek, about this? Should we include
Yeah,
more ML projects or more AI projects? Yeah.
there are two things. If you're going in big companies, recruiters, the resume and projects are only seen by recruiter in this initial phase. After the interviews are scheduled, we don't look forward to the projects. In fact, my few of my friends who are right now watching this video did 7 rounds of interviews uh, for Amazon for hiring candidates for their teams, and they didn't ask them those projects. They asked data structure and algorithm questions. They saw the problem solving skills. So while it's the opposite case on when you apply to startups, I have also applied to various startups and
Hmm.
I've cracked them. So there they ask because there the competition is less, there the work is kind of fast more. They see the development skills, they want the work to be done faster. So there how they measure the speed, they measure the candidate's development skills, not those problem solving skills. So there they try to figure out via projects what has the candidate done before. So if you're applying to startups, yes, that's a big need, but not in the case of product based or service based companies.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So let's move to the next question, and this is also the most famous question. This question is how to ask for referrals. If someone is from non tier one college, and if people are from tier two or tier three college, how they can reach out to companies, how they can reach out to recruiters off campus, and they can all how they can also prepare for such big companies like Amazon, Microsoft, if they are not from IITs or NITs or DTU. So yeah, so I'm summarizing it. The question is how we can ask for referrals and how we can apply for off campus. Let's start with Abhishek.
Yeah, so first is you should build good positive network on LinkedIn. Uh, what I mean by positive is that, a good famous quote says that you are average of five persons around you. Okay, so you need to have a good network you need to have friends from different colleges, so you get to know what latest technologies, what latest hiring events are going on. You need to be connected with your alumni, college alumni, and also from other colleges. Uh, just build a network. Try to go to different these developer groups where you meet different people from companies. You can ask them for referrals. Whenever you connect with someone on LinkedIn, just drop them a message saying hi and a bit of intro of yours. I have seen people dropping just a hi, so it's difficult to reply. You don't know the intent. Sometimes you know. So even if the other person knows that you are saying them hi for referral, just be specific. Second thing which I hiring events are going on. Don't wait or don't try to make connection when those hiring events are going on. Write before. Write with people from different companies. Make connections. Say a hi to them, and catch them when those hiring events or referral drives are going on. Try to get a referral at that point of time. So don't waste your time at the openings are available. That's how the thing are. Uh, Once again, I would say go to developer groups and meet people, join networks. That's how you make a good connection around you. In almost all the cities, developer
Okay,
groups are going on. Yeah. So summarizing it,
okay.
2 points.
So,
First, go to developer groups and then build a good network over LinkedIn.
okay. What about you, Tarun? What is your opinion regarding referrals?
So I guess one thing which would definitely help you is like your LinkedIn profile. So like keep it up to date, and so keep it decorated, I would say. So definitely LinkedIn profile will help. You can reach out to people which like who are your connections on LinkedIn. Reach out to them in a formal manner. Like I have seen people who like reach out very vaguely, like hi, please
Yeah.
give me a referral. So that's not how it's done. You should reach out professionally. You tell them about yourself. You tell them you attach your resume, you keep your LinkedIn profile updated, and then wait for their response. Like if they are interested, don't force anyone. And one thing like which definitely have worked for me is like start befriending with your seniors. So like having a good touch with your seniors will definitely help you get like getting around, because like if you want to get a referral from someone, and like if he's your like he's your senior but like super senior, and so definitely you will know someone who knows him or her. So that's how the chain can be built around. So like if I tell you a story, like uh I was trying to get a referral for Monzo Bank, like which is a startup in UK. And so I reached out to one of my senior on Facebook to get the referral, and then somehow I got a referral for Jane Street, just because his roommate was in Jane Street, and he from his own side, he like came forward and told me like I could get a referral for Jane Street for you. So like I guess that's how like this whole networking can be done.
Okay, okay, awesome. So just summarizing both of the points. One thing is LinkedIn. You have to build your profile on LinkedIn and don't send random messages. Send genuine, unique, professional messages, and also build your network going through different hiring events, different events that are held across the like Delhi. And yeah, so that's the two basic point. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is how to get
Also,
internships. If
wait,
yeah,
Abhishek.
yeah.
So I also want to add that it's always easier to reach out to people like who are not directly into recruiting. So like if you like some
Hmm.
people directly try to reach out to recruiters, and mostly recruiters won't reply back to you, because it's not that like they are rude, they are not replying back. It's because like most of people just like you are spamming them or just asking for referrals in referrals for some kind of opening. So their inboxes are mostly full, so you won't get that attention. So it's always better like you reach out to some people who are kind of working in that firm instead of direct recruiters.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
would
Yeah.
won't like
So
to stretch it. Just one more thing to
yeah.
add. People are asking in comment section that they have tried sending messages to recruiters. So instead of sending messages to recruiters, they already have a pile of resumes with them. So they always try to take referrals from their employees from the engineering department. So just try to have referrals from engineers and avoid sending cold mails to recruiters. That won't help much. And also, when you try to send a message to people, don't expect that they will reply. One out of five people usually reply, so don't get disheartened by them. That's how things goes. So just look for positive things and just keep applying.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is how to get internships if you are in a second year or third year, or should people focus on internships or open source projects? Yeah, Tarun, you can tell.
Okay. So I guess like I haven't done open source, so I can't comment on that. But I guess in second year I did a project with my professor at IIT Delhi because some of my seniors suggested that like working with professor will help you build connections in the department. I don't think that worked out very well, but that was a like initial research experience for me. I would always suggest to like for my personal experience, projects at campus versus internships. I would always prefer internships if you have goal of learning like to solve some industrial level problems. So I have always preferred internships. Even I am currently working on my MTech thesis and also side by side working with Adobe, just because I prefer internships over campus projects or like projects with professors. So
Okay.
with open source, I guess Abhishek can tell you better.
Yeah. So moving on to the same question, what is your views about open source contributions, and should people more focus on internships rather than open source projects? Yeah.
Uh, Both are equivalently good, but if you are in third year, I would say go for internship that can help you land a PPO, pre-placement offer. While you are in second year, companies usually don't hire, but startups do. So
Hmm.
if you are getting into a good startup and if you are getting to work on a role, let's say in which you are interested, so go for that. Whereas on the open source side, you have the freedom to choose what projects, what tech stack do you want to work on. So that's also equivalently good. If you are doing internship, that helps you get a bit of industry experience, how things work, how good software development lifecycle procedures are followed in company. That's how you get to know the industry and make some good connections there, which will be helpful for future. But open source are also equivalent at the same time. There's also a good community out there. You get to work on different projects. GSOC is also there. So it's not like internships and all, but if you are in third year, I would have preferably prioritize getting PPO via an internship.
Okay.
Like I
Okay.
guess
Great.
I guess like you people should like give open source a try. Like you can start anytime. So it's not that you have to start at just at the, let's just in the summers when people are also interning. So give it a try, I guess. Like if you, and then you can better decide like what is right for you, like because having an internship experience is also definitely important. So
Hmm.
I guess just give it a try in non-intern season and see how you like, how much you like it. Then you can try for GSOC, like which you can do in summer as well and get paid as well.
Okay. Great. The last question for you guys is, if a person is from non-CS background, then how he can manage to become a software engineer? Is it really difficult for him, or what path should he choose if a person is from non-CS background? Yeah, so we'll start with Abhishek.
So, guys, I know not one, but more than 10 people in my network who were in electronics, mechanical, civil, aerospace, and now are into top product companies like Amazon and Flipkart. So, the thing is, you ought to have a good skill set. Again, saying that during interviews, only the skill set is measured and not from which background do you come from. Definitely, you will have to do more preparation if you are from non-CS background because the coursework is different. But again, the interview preparation skills which are required for cracking interviews is equivalent whether you are from non-CS or CS background.
Okay. What is your opinion, Tarun?
I guess yeah, like similar to Abhishek, I've seen people cracking these interviews who are not from CS background or mathematics background or even electronics background, which give at least some bit of uh, exposure to data
Yeah,
structure algorithms or similar stuff. So like just like civil, mechanical, or those kind of branches. I guess there are a lot of like plenty of resources online you can look for. You can learn all data structures, algorithms, or relevant questions are definitely to be practiced from lead core interview bit. So I guess it's very easy. It's very hard to get your resume selected when you are compared
yeah,
to cracking the interview. Like if you are comparing the cracking the interview part and just getting your resume selected. So if I am from CS background, definitely recruiter will have some bias towards me, like selecting my resume over your resume. So yeah, definitely you'll have to work a little harder to prepare your resume because your coursework won't help. Like in my case, my coursework, I have done plenty of my open credit courses with computer science department, so that helps in building up my resume. I have written a lot of course projects in my resume which are directly taken from those CS courses. So I guess that similar thing you can do. You can try building up your curriculum around that. Or you use your all your open credits for you doing computer science courses and start learning competitive, like not competitive coding, start learning coding online. So like I have seen people who paid like zero attention in classes, did all this thing online and got offers from Microsoft Flipkart. So I guess that's easily done, but definitely you'll have to work a little harder learning all concepts. Like except those some forms like definitely fintech. I didn't add this point at that time. So they also look for concepts like DBMS, OS. Like if you are applying for HFT forms like Tower, so they have a lot of low latency firmware. So they want you to know about OS, multi-threading. So that are the kind of skills you will have to build up on your own if you are not directly from CS background. Even if even I did all these courses with CS or learned them online because I'm from mathematics and computing.
okay, awesome. So, for the next half an hour, we are going to take the questions from the chat and we will try to resolve as many queries as possible. The first question I can see is people are asking are certificates and CGPAs matter? So, while preparing or while placement, the certificates or the CGPA matter? Yeah,
So yeah, I'll start with this. So I guess I'd like to defend a good performance in academics. So because I've been a top performer here at IIT Delhi in academics. So I guess it will help you. I'm not sure how much it helps you in interviews, but it definitely helps you on resume. It would definitely help you building the right skill set because like if you are applying for fintech firms, they also show some kind of bias towards high performers because like even if it is not showing the even if I say that CGPA doesn't directly correlate with your skill set, it definitely correlates with the kind of hard work a person can do and kind of determination he shows. Like because score even like for scoring, a student doesn't need to uh, like all the subjects. But for scoring a good CGPA, he'll have to study all the subjects. So so that kind of determination is definitely correlated with CGPA. And some of the firms, even not Microsoft or similar tech firms, or maybe Google, but definitely fintech firms have bias for good performers. And it will also help you building right skill set in mathematics. Like if you are because like a lot of coursework will, at least CS coursework will include a lot of mathematics revolving around algebra or probability, discrete mathematics.
yeah,
So that's required when you are trying to crack even discrete mathematic questions or puzzles are some like somehow like even some tech companies ask like if they are in mood of that. So but fintech forms definitely ask that. So I guess like I will definitely suggest you to have a good CGPA.
Okay. So the next question is data science is a good path for like future jobs with great income? Like people have asked that how should they focus on data science? Both of you have worked on machine learning and data science. So can Abhishek give some guidance over data science? Yeah. Uh, so I guess
Great.
Abhishek has left. Okay.
So till
So
then I
yeah,
can
Tarun, you can
share
you can share.
my experience. So like particularly I started machine learning out of my interest for mathematics, because machine learning will involve a lot of maths from probability and linear algebra, and like it definitely seems fascinating, and there is, I would say, a little fad around machine learning these days. So I guess in that sense I started machine learning, so I liked the course, but then I in during my show intern I worked on machine learning, and I guess for building up a right career in machine learning, you can first try to learn concepts, at least even if not the math behind it, but definitely of different kind of models which are there, different kind of strategies which are there to increase the accuracy or something. So that would be start, I guess. Then you can try on Kaggle or something. Like a lot of people do that stuff. I haven't done that stuff, uh, but I guess like because I was not very much into like building up my career in data science, I was interested in data science, and I took it as a, you can say, side choice. Like even if I'm currently working with Adobe in their AI team, and for that I had a rigorous interview for machine learning. But I guess that was pretty much around mathematics and like basic techniques, basic fundamentals, and like the reason I chose to work at Adobe was like so that I can see whether data science will work for me. So I guess or not. So I guess you can like see Kaggle or similar like competitions happening over there to see like if you are if you are the right fit for data science. Just don't go with the fad that you have to do data science just because people are like too much into it nowadays. But you can give it a try. I guess Abhishek will add to it.
Yeah. So Abhishek, yeah, you can add.
Yeah, so definitely, Tarun, agreed with your point. I would say that definitely it's going to be a field which has boom already and is definitely a good career to opt for. But if only you have interest for that, you should opt for it. Uh, Data science, if you talk about top product-based companies, they usually hire students who have completed PhD, postdoctorate in machine learning and data science, because that requires a lot of experience. But if you talk about startups, yes, they are hiring college grads in machine learning and data science field. So yeah, you definitely have a good career. You can start with startups in data, machine learning, and data science fields, and then probably go to product-based companies after a tenure of 3 to 4 years, or go for masters and then probably come into machine learning in product-based companies. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it goes. For get
Okay.
like LinkedIn is a good uh, place for making professional outreach, and CodeChef is for problem solving skills. Definitely, if you want to go in machine learning field, you ought to have a good Kaggle profile. That's how
Yeah.
the screening part comes in for machine learning.
Okay. Yeah. So the next question is people are very confused about good web development projects, and people have just done data structure and algorithm. They have learned data structure and algorithm, and they're stuck after some problems. So what advice you can give so that they can improve their problem solving skills? Also, they want to build good web development projects. So yeah, people are confused a lot. I can see the chat. Yeah. So let's start with Abhishek.
Can you please come again with the question? Or having some
Yeah,
internet
the
issues.
question is how one can improve their problem solving skills if they have reached the basic level of data structure and algorithms. And the next question, which follows this question, is how they can actually improve their web development or development skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first question, if you think you have a good grasp over data structure algorithms, try to see, first is try to see how other people are solving that same question. If you can see editorials, if you can see how your friends are trying to solve, what approach are they having. So having multiple approaches is always a plus point to learn. And second is, uh, if you have good grasp over data science, sorry, this questions, data structure algorithm questions, then try to solve the particular question in 20 minutes of time. If you are right now able to do in 30 minutes of time, try to do it in different approaches. Try to see what new data structure can you incorporate in the same solution. Try how you can reduce the complexity of the question. Try how you can make a better approach, make less lines of code, make it cover all test cases, how to make it generic. So that's how you can improve on data structure and algorithms part.
Okay. So moving on to the question, Tarun, can you guide us about good web development projects?
Actually, I haven't worked in web development, so I guess
Okay.
but I would like to add to this problem solving attitude. So,
Yeah.
like, I would suggest that don't just directly jump onto the solutions and don't always stay stuck on one question. So, I guess, and you will get to learn the optimal amount of time you need to give it, like, give to a particular question. So, I guess, like, you can, and just like Abhishek said, that you will have lot of online resources. Like Lead Code has a lot of like people have posted their solutions. You can just sort by top voted and you can see how people are implementing it, because it while you are interviewing, it won't just matter that like you are able to solve the question, you are able to come up with an algorithm, but how elegant your implementation is, that adds to the total weight of your qualification for that round. So like you will see how people have implemented the same algorithm in much like sophisticated way, I would say, or compact way. So that would help you like help you in future. So you like look at the various approaches people have used. So I guess that can help you, and like you will get to learn the optimal amount of time you need to give to a particular question.
Okay, awesome. The most famous question that I can see in the chat is people are asking about if they are not good with data science algorithms and they have wasted their 2 years of time, starting 2 years of the time, and they are in third year or maybe in the fourth sem. So how can they approach their journey from that point of time, and what is the correct path that they can follow so that they can reach these companies if they are in third year and they have just started their coding like journey?
Yeah, if you are in third or fourth year, then definitely you need to improve on data structure algorithms. That is the only thing that will help you crack interviews. Because tech projects is one part which helps in resume screening, but the basic fundamental thing is data structure and algorithms. Stick to one platform, try to cover up in 3 months, take a course which can help you to complete that entire roadmap of data structure and algorithms within 3 months. Try to solve more problems and because it's a high time now. You will be having interviews within an year or so. So try to go with data structures. Meanwhile, if you have time, then go for tech projects. But data structures and algorithms is the main fundamental. Also, I can see in comments that people are asking whether internships are required for Google. I've seen many people who have joined Google and many other top tech companies without internships because what matters is data structures and algorithms for clearing interviews.
Okay. What is your point, Tarun, regarding this?
I guess, yeah, like it's never late to start. So uh, I would also recommend doing some course from like say Coursera or NPTEL, and then I'm a big fan of Interviewbit because it has all the questions sorted in buckets of concepts and according to complexity of levels. So like they can then start from there and start doing those questions after solving those questions. Like they also provide hints, so you don't need to directly jump onto solutions, because even in interviews you get some hints if you are not able to solve. So I guess that's a nice platform to start with, and then I suggest to do like easy problems or ABC level problems on code forces. So I guess of Div 2 and maybe Div 3 around D and E, up to D and E. So like that will help you build your problem solving skills from there on. But definitely a course can help in building the right skill set, because that's the most essential skill set you will require. Like even I appeared for even I had offer for internship at Google, and at that time, like they didn't ask much about my previous internship, while I had done previous internship with Microsoft at that time. But they most of the question, like they had two telephonic rounds, and both of the interviews asked me about two questions in each round, and both of the questions were like about trees or basic fundamentals of coding or basic data structures.
Okay. Okay. The next question is, when should people start applying for off campus? If they are in third year or they're in fourth year, when should they start reaching out to the companies, and when can they prepare for asking for referrals to the companies? Yeah.
So
Yeah,
in
Abhishek.
my experience, I didn't apply. Yeah, so in my experience, I didn't apply to internships off campus, but
Mhm.
I've applied to a lot of forms for placement. So I started because I started in August and August end with because like lot of Indian firms were having their on-campus placements at that time. So most of the firms released their openings at that time. Like I saw a lot of like firms like GS and all had their openings in around August and on their websites. So I guess that would be the right time to start applying on these websites or reaching out to people. Like you can even start reaching out to people even before there are openings if you know them well. Like just in case, like as soon as there is an opening, you can reach out to them for the referral, because because when you are asking for a referral, it's always good to have the opening, like the opening which you want to apply for. So don't forget to add that to your message whenever you are reaching to anyone. So I guess
Okay.
August is the right time, and you can keep on applying as soon as you get your desired offer.
Okay. Abhishek, same page with Tarun?
Yeah, I agree to his point.
Yeah. The next question we have is, what companies expect in resume and how they can make a good resume for placements? So, yeah, Abhishek.
So yeah, there are various resume builder websites where you can go, and also LaTeX is a really good platform to use to make your resumes because it sounds really professionally. Also, I would say that try go for one pager resume. Don't look waste any space because and try to use technical keywords. Most of the resumes I get from students to verify, they have those uh, basic keywords like I'm working on this. Use some technical words that you have developed this thing. What kind of parameters? What kind of complexity was there in the project? What impact have you made with that project? Also, education should be on the top with projects next on that thing. So keep it a one-page resume. Keep margins all across. Don't make it that much shiny, I would say. A simple one also is equivalent. The only thing is that keyword should be there. Your basic project should be covered up in top half part of it, so that a recruiter who spends 10 to 15 seconds at max on your resume gets a glimpse and should okay your resume that I'm going with it.
Okay. What about Tarun? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I agree with Abhishek. So like a one page resume is more or less sufficient, and like have a simple resume, but it should be efficient in space, and it should like sufficiently tell the story which you like want to tell to the recruiter, because like recruiter will at max have, as Abhishek said, around 20 seconds on your resume, and the readability should be as such that like if recruiter schemes through your resume, it should be able to get the sense of what you have done, what are the kind of what is the breadth of technology you have covered, what is your educational background, what are your like projects you have done, which different firms you have already worked for, and like what are the extracurriculars you have. So just prioritize what you want to write. You just don't write everything, just prioritize like even in projects, if you are not like whatever you are writing on your resume, you should be sure that it is as we have already discussed, like most of the interviews in might not ask you about your projects, but if they ask, then you should have the clear idea of what you have done. So I guess you should be very sure what you are writing, very sure of what you are writing, and be clear about the points you are writing. Have a look at the resumes which your seniors have already made. You can find a lot of resumes on LinkedIn on various profiles. So just have a look how people are uh, doing that. Like formatting, definitely having a good format definitely will help you avoid any kind of grammatical mistakes, avoid like any kind of all sort of mistakes. So have a look at other resumes and maybe start learning, and you can reach out to people who can uh, do proofreading for you, and just see like how good your resume looks.
Okay. The next question we have is in interviews or in like while placements, do the interviewers focus on some specific programming languages or they just want you guys should write code in Python only or Java only? Do they specifically follow a pattern or they are go with every language? They're free with every language. Yeah. So Abhishek, yeah.
Yeah, not at all. Usually people come up with C++ or Java or Python. These three languages are a top priority, but never ever do we focus on programming language you are using. Just that it's good if you're using a more better high level programming language where you want to, which feels like a pseudocode, but that's not a problem for us. Whatever language you use, we just focus on the approach you're using.
Okay. Yeah, Tarun, your point?
So I guess yeah, some forms are like bit focused around languages, but other firms just ask you like your favorite language you want to code in. But the language, like some firms, but the language you choose, you should be clear about like basic fundamentals of that language. Like if you are choosing C++, then you should know how object-oriented things work, how basic data structures in SQL works. So that kind of like whichever language you are choosing, like I would say like for at least for problem solving, try to stick to one and learn the basic fundamentals how that language works. Because like even if you will have the liberty to choose the language, you can expect questions on how things work, how garbage management is done in Java, or like C++ doesn't have this. Why? So that kind of questions you can expect in interview. Some of the firms are like they ask you particularly for some language, like from some fintech firms like Tower and all, like these firms have their low latency frameworks in C++, so they somehow ask you to have like that kind of skill set already. Like some, I interviewed with one firm called Hudson River Trading, like which is also an HFT. So they highly like they have high preference for people who already have good background in C++. So, but I guess like you can choose any of like C++, Java, or Python. Like I guess choose a language which will have like all kind of high level function like programming features. Maybe one out of
Okay.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Okay.
summarize, the if you are writing code, it's like a dish. The dish should finally be tasty. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what ingredients you're using. So just use any popular language. And if in case you're going for a specific product, role which
From
requires you to
yeah.
be have a your role requires to have a particular language you should know about, like Python in machine learning, then yeah, you should know about it. You may be asked about that, but
Hmm.
generally you should only go with any popular language, not like MATLAB one.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. The next question we have is what all resources you would like to share and you would like to tell to all the students so that they can start their journey with data structure and algorithms, and what are the good resources that one can follow while their coding preparation and all. Yeah. So Tarun, you can start.
Okay, I guess like you can look up on maybe Coursera and NPTEL for like quality courses. There are a lot of online blogs you can search for them. Like even like Google will get you to all of them. Top Coder is one good resource to have a lot about algorithms and all that thing. Geeks for Geeks is there. Leak Code and Intuit is there. So I guess like just don't I guess read everywhere, but like try to read as much as you can on like some of the good blogs like Top Coder, Geeks for Geeks, and have a idea of how things are working, and then just focus more on problem solving. Just not like just reading won't help. I guess Abhishek can help.
Okay. Yeah. Abhishek,
Yeah,
would you like to
definitely.
add
I
something? Yeah.
always start with Geeks for Geeks to get a basic learning of a new data structure if I'm going on. Then you get some particular questions to know how to use that particular data structure. And then I try to do questions and figure out what data structure I can use. So sometimes you're doing practicing questions on some platforms like Interview Bit, then you know you ought to use a particular data structure in this question. But when some random questions are put up to you in interviews, you need to know which data structure to use. So I definitely start with Geeks for Geeks and then go to platforms like Interview Bit, and they are really good books also like cracking coding interviews. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next question we have is how can one focus on projects? Like if someone is starting their journey with development and they haven't learned any development skills as of now, so how can they start their journey with development skills and some basic projects? And if possible, you can also suggest some good projects, good web development or good any projects so that people can start their journey with the development skills. Yeah. Abhishek, yeah, you can start.
Yeah, so uh, I would say that uh, hello, I guess I lost the
Yeah, yeah,
network.
yeah. No, no, it's audible.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, audible, audible.
Hi
You are
Abhishek.
audible. Yeah.
Yeah, can you please come to the question?
Yeah, the question was how can one start their journey with development skills? What all projects should
Yeah,
they start with? Yeah.
yeah. So point is, people, or especially first or second year students, usually ask this question: where should we start? Where should we start? So I would say just take up any project. Just let's say if you see a library, do go with a library management project. If you see attendance, you usually take attendance in your classes. Go with an attendance project. How you can go with a basic website. Try to replicate a website. If you can try to replicate Twitter, if you can try to replicate uh, platform, maybe like Facebook or something like that, where you have a basic login, sign up page, registrations, and then you can have a comments from people, how you can persist that in DB. Take a project where you can have a mix of backend, front end, and as well as database also, so that you can cover up most technologies. And in such basic projects, no major data structure is being used. So basic things like arrays are used here, so you will know how to use arrays. How can I, you know uh, I have to use maps. So these basic arrays, hash maps are used in such codes, basic backend things. So that's how you can start with. Don't look out for a major project which you need to see in GitHub. Just try with a basic project.
Okay. And what about you, Thuru?
I guess like Abhishek has covered all the points.
Okay. The next question we have is if someone is starting their journey in competitive programming and what they are doing, they are exploring one topic at a time. Let's say they are preparing DP or they are preparing trees. So how much questions should they solve in that specific topic, and how much time should they actually use or actually utilize for each particular for each particular question? Yeah.
Try to solve every question within 30 minutes of time. No question should take more than that. Agreed. If you're starting with it, you would probably take more than that amount of time, but try to reduce it to less than 30 minutes. When you sit for an interview, you are given a question. First 5 minutes, you try to ask question. Try to clarify all the things related to the question. What are the input? What is the output? What can be the range of the input? So after that, you are expected to clear your approach within the next 10 to 15 minutes, and next 10 minutes you have to code using pen paper technique. So that's how you should try to cover up each question, and also try to try to code the problem in 15 minutes at max. So that's how it should be at the final level of preparation.
And how much amount of questions should they solve in each topic?
That's dependent until unless you get some good confidence that whatever question is put up, you are able to solve it. There's no particular amount number which should be an average. But yeah, if you are able to solve 30, 40 questions per topic, that's more than enough.
Okay. Yeah, then your call.
Yeah, so I guess like there is no optimal quantity of questions that you have to solve to like you will have to figure out how much questions, and the quality of questions will definitely matter. The quality will triumph over quantity. So basically just get the right confidence to solve the questions, like because even in the interview pressure, like you get to like you need to get ready for that interview pressure, like you need to solve those problems in interview uh, conditions. So I guess like if you are able to solve questions in say around 20 minutes at home, so then you will definitely be able to solve those questions under 30 minutes in interview. So I guess that's why like Abhishek has been focusing on this part, that you need to do the time bound preparation of your for your interviews.
Awesome. Okay. So just wrapping up the session, the last question for today is how one can actually be motivated while going with all these journey of the coding and all. So how can one remain motivated in his coding life? So if a problem is stuck and if we won't be able to solve the problem, how can one remain like motivated enough that they can keep solving and keep learning all the new things? Yeah, Abhishek.
Yeah, so this motivation part is required by everyone. I also require it at times. So this is the journey. It goes in every field. You have to be positive always. Things will be good at the end. So there will be a time when you will be able to solve this question. Just look forward to that time. This journey is quite a roller coaster ride. You may be able to solve one question, but not the other one. But that's not an issue. That's what you're preparing for. That's what if you are going through this problem right now, you should be happy because again, at the time of interview, you won't be going through that. So try to solve the
Yeah,
question. This is not a one-time thing. It would be continuous till schooling, till college. You have been doing these things. So if it's interesting to you, that won't be much of a problem. Just be motivated. Again, try to have a good peer group that will keep you motivated, and your average of 5% around you. So keep a good network around you
yeah,
always.
yeah. Any points, Taru?
Yeah, I guess I agree with Abhishek. Like, just be motivated by the goal, like if the desire you have for cracking like interviews at some of the big firms. So I guess that motivates well, and like start having interest in like subjects. I guess like that worked for me. Like just don't just do things to crack coding interviews. Like if you will start with data structures and algorithms, I guess definitely you will start getting interest in problem solving. So that's one of the like good motivating factor to like if you have that kind of uh, like that kind of desire to know stuff, to know the solutions, to solve more problems, like, and definitely a good peer group will definitely help. So until third year I used to be part of one of the coding peer group of my hostel, and at till that time I used to do competitive coding, and once that gone, and I stopped doing competitive coding. So I guess
Yeah,
peer group will definitely help to like build up the right temperament to do problems. Like you can reach out to like other people in the group to solve questions, to discuss questions. So that kind of uh, that like that kind of environment should be there, I guess. It
yeah.
will definitely help you and your friends.
Yeah, I want to add on this point that people should more focus on getting rewards after solving the question. For example, if you're solving one question and if you solve it successfully, then you get some reward or something like AC that will keep you motivated. So more and more problems you solve, more and more rewards you get, it will keep you motivated in the entire coding journey. You will not feel frustrated after solving more and more problems. So yeah, that's the entire thing. So thank
Yeah,
you guys.
very well said,
We are going
Abhishek
to,
Gupta. Very
yeah,
well said. Just adding to your point that a short-term reward should be given, and that's how
yeah,
we give rewards to ourselves. Also, it's not like you join Amazon, Google, or whatever company, and then you will not come across these problems. You will get stuck, but at the end, it always gets free and the work gets completed. So just be chill, and the long-term reward will be good money and a good placement you will get. And once you will be there at a good company, that's the best reward. That's the passion you want to have a good job.
hmm, yeah. So wrapping up the session, guys, and I hope we have covered everything. And if some things are missing, we will take some more sessions on AMA. We are going to have a series of AMA sessions on different topics. So stay tuned for further updates on the WhatsApp group, and we will notify you when we are going to have the next time AMAs. Also, we will share a form with you where you can also tell us what all topics you want to get covered in these AMAs, and we will help you a lot in regarding placements and interviews also. So yeah, that's it for today's session, and I hope we have actually solved all your problems. And also adding to this, this is the tough time for all of us because of the coronavirus. So just stay at home, wash your hands, and just be safe. So that, and keep learning, guys. So the main thing is you don't have to give up, and you just have to be like learning always. So that's it from today's session. Okay. Yeah. So the doubts we can take on WhatsApp chats also, and we will also be sharing some links so that you can also follow your coding journey. And that's it. So thank you, Tarun. Thank you, Abhishek, for taking out your time and taking out this time in this epidemic situation. So thanks a lot, and I hope all of us will help more and more students. And just yeah. So thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Abhishek, for calling us, for inviting us, and I
Thank you.
hope we were of help to students. And I will try to be of help in the future also. And thank you, everyone, for joining us in this AMA. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Abhishek, for giving us this opportunity. Definitely, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn for like you can connect with us over there.
Yeah. Okay. So bye bye, guys.
Bye, guys.